Hi everyone, welcome back to the broadcast studio here at WPC, powered by SAP Ariba. And fantastically, I'm joined by Florence from PwC. I am joined by Lisa from SAP, here to talk about just some things going on in procurement right now. And so thank you very much for joining and spending the time with us. Looking at, part of my role is to obviously conduct research, and we do a major piece of research with The Economist, and there's an interesting piece of data that was also in the PwC survey that came out, that a good friend of mine who works for PwC sent to me, which is nice of him, and it identified that digitalization is the top priority for procurement and procurement leaders over the next 12 to 18 months. Why do you think that is? And what's driving that? And what can leaders in procurement do to prepare themselves?
So I would say it's my top priority as well for the next year, and I'm not surprised by the finding. I think there are growing expectations from the business that we will be able to make use of the new emerging technology to make ourselves more efficient and to respond to the expectations of a business at pace and with better data. I think the challenge comes from the fact that we're all dealing with the multiplicity of complex data sources. And I would say that as a community, we really have to upskill ourselves as leaders and support our teams in this journey. Traditionally, you could progress in procurement by being an excellent negotiator. I think those days are over. This is no longer sufficient. And there are not enough great procurement people out there who have the digital skills. So I think we're going to have a big shortage, and we as leaders must help our team upskill and upskill ourselves.
I think it's an interesting point. I was in a roundtable yesterday. This isn't on the notes I've given you, but it's an interesting point you've made, and I want to kind of ask you about this. And one of the things that they said was, as we drive greater digitization and therefore automation, a lot of the roles or a lot of the tasks we're asking automation to do are quite transactional tasks.
Yep.
The people who were doing those tasks previously will need to be significantly upskilled to be able to do the tasks, the strategic tasks, that they're creating the time for. So it's interesting when you're turning around and saying around the talent and the skills and the digital skills that's going to be needed. How are you thinking about that? How are you thinking about that from a PwC perspective?
We are definitely a learning organization, and we are helping our people. We have digital specialists who help our teams, whether you need to learn specific skills. But I think coming to events like this and learning from others and understanding what is available, and I like the idea of, give it a try, fail fast, and just start again. Is the best way.
Well, doing it wrong is an investment in doing it right the next time, as somebody once famous once said. Lisa, let me bring you in around some of the digitization topics. The research says that spend analysis and AI, shockingly, everybody, let's come back to that later, maybe.
But you've said it.
Yeah, first time I've said it all day. Are the top drivers of digitization. What do you think the key challenges are for organizations around spend visibility?
Absolutely. I think one of the key challenges and what we hear from our customers, right, is around data silos and disconnected systems. Customers have systems that aren't integrated. They're not able to see the data. I think a second piece of it is poor data quality, right? And that's a huge one that we're hearing from customers, and it's really challenging to get that clean data. I think the third is around compliance. Procurement's known for driving compliance. Maverick spend is a big challenge. If there's a lot of maverick spend happening in an organization, there's not ability to see what's happening and where that spend is sitting. So I think that's a big one as well.
Yeah, and I think that maverick spend, from a compliance perspective, is interesting, especially if you've got obligations that you've made to organizations that might be going out. How does that kind of resonate with you from a PwC perspective?
Also, spend analytics is close to my heart because it's something we've implemented in PwC this year, and it's made a huge difference already. We are a decentralized procurement organization, so people are using different systems in different countries, and this was such a quick way of bringing together the data to really enable us to make better decisions, help some countries manage their tail spend. identify maverick spend as well. And it's something you can do in a space of 6 months without whipping out whatever you have implemented before. So I think this is definitely very exciting technology.
I think Peter Drucker, the management consultant, once said, "In God we trust, everyone else brings data."
Yep.
And I think the data cleanliness, and there's a great statistic I've seen. Actually, it's not a great, the statistic is not great. I like the statistic. And it was 70% of procurement leaders don't trust their own data. So getting better visibility into that spend, I think, is absolutely crucial for organizations for procurement leaders to trust their data, because when procurement can trust their data, then the business will trust their data, and that kind of alignment thing that goes on. You said you're implementing spend analytics or a spend management thing. So let's talk a little bit about transformation, because transformation is. I was having a conversation earlier. Is it continual, or is it one-off? I think from what you were saying, it's continual as well. We're always transforming something. One of the biggest barriers around transformation is change and change management.
Yeah.
And every transformation that I've spoken to a leader about, they said, "Oh, I wish we would have done more about change management." So how can people not fall into that trap?
So we've implemented CLM and spend analytics in the last 2 years. So we have learned a lot in how to lead a successful program. We're very lucky in our organization to have our own advisory people who can provide the support on change management. And I was delighted to have the support. I think this is not something you can do yourself. We are subject matter experts in procurement. We are not transformation expert or IT experts, and it's really important to bring your stakeholders on the journey with you, and having people there who could hold our hand and say, bear in mind, you're going to need to do this, you're going to need to do that, you need to get your stakeholders involved in the tool selection, in the planning, in the implementation. How are you going to train them? How are you then going to define KPIs to make sure the implementation has been successful? So I think you have to recognize that as enthusiastic as you may be, there's a lot of effort, and getting experts to hold your hand and guide you is going to make it much more likely to be successful. So it's important to do it properly.
Yeah, and not skimp, I think, a lot in terms of change management, because again, one of the barriers or one of the problems that I think I've seen many procurement leaders want to fix is a lack of adoption, and adoption is linked, I think, back to that lack of change management. Now, we've been talking for about 10 minutes, and I sense the gods from on high getting angry that we've not yet talked about AI. And I believe it's the law now. We're not allowed to have a procurement conversation without talking about AI. So let's talk about it to make sure that there's no anger going on from anybody. Let's think about, and Lisa, maybe I'll start with you here, around where do you think the procurement process opportunities are from an AI perspective now, and where do you think it might go in 12 months or so?
So it's interesting, and we were talking a little bit about this yesterday, right? AI, Gen AI wasn't even on the Gartner hype cycle 12 months ago. I think most of our customers, procurement leaders, are using traditional AI. They're using it now, right? I think that opportunity is what's going to come with Gen AI. And it's interesting, right, talking to so many different leaders in procurement, because kind of back to that data is the foundation of having, kind of adopting and starting on that journey. I think there's huge opportunity, right, for efficiency to, again, continue to drive cost savings. It's where does that happen? I think for us, and I lead product marketing for our upstream sourcing solution, so I think we see a lot of opportunity in sourcing and category management, et cetera. So I'm excited to see what comes.
And what about yourself, Florence? So where are you seeing the AI opportunities now, and also 12 to 18 months' time?
So I'm going back already with a very long to-do list for the team, because I got really excited. I was at the AI forum yesterday, and the CPO of OpenAI was saying how he's using AI to write RFPs, and I thought, we have to try this. And we've heard a lot about bots. I'm really interested in trying AI. We've got 2 pilots we're planning. One is around monitoring supplier risk, because I think this is an area where there's a huge amount of multiple external data sources, and they can overwhelm you. So I'm hoping we could use AI maybe to find the right information in a timely manner without being overwhelmed by the quantity of information. Another one that we are trialing in procurement and in PwC, we're really interested in this, is using it in the legal world in contract redlining. And I'm interested in trying it and doing a couple of proof of concept to see how we could help our stakeholders and really execute on the contracting lifecycle in a faster way. We're going to do it slowly. We're going to try with very low risk, low spend agreement and see if it supports our legal team in contract redlining. So that's something we are really keen to do.
Yeah, redlining and obligation management from CLM. I've seen market analysis, so similar to the risk analysis thing. I've seen market analysis from a category management thing, and I've seen automatic coding from spend analysis, which again, as a procurement person, it gets me excited around automatic coding of things, because I just remember how painful it is to just get the 8-digit from a UNSPSE code together and get agreement on that, and especially when we're trying to drive some supplier relationships and what have you. So, Lisa, Florence, thank you very, very much. I hope you all enjoyed that, and we'll be back soon, back in the broadcast studio. Thanks very much, everybody.